Hey everybody, what's going on? Thanks for being here today. Welcome to the MrMaple Show. We got another 10 at 10 lineup for you guys.
Man, who would have thought Thursday we're gonna have a 10 at 10, man? After such an awesome one on Tuesday.
Right.
I mean, I think Purple Curl dropped, man. I mean, we got some cool plants over here today too to talk about.
Yeah, man. I mean, we might be getting predictable on our 10 at 10 releases twice a week. Tuesday, Thursday. That's always going to be the case, guys. But our plant lineup, we change it up every Tuesday and every Thursday. We got a nice lineup for you guys today. We're going to jump right into it, man. We got a lot of plants to talk about. So today we're starting out with a great little fragrant tea olive for you guys, Cheyenne.
Yeah, man. These false hollies, also as they're known as, are going to provide some great texture in the landscape. That classic holly look. But guess what? This one's bringing the party.
Yeah, man, this thing does have some of the best colors out there of any of the fragrant tea olives. This has some nice like peaches and yellows when the new growth starts popping off. You can just now start to see some starting to pop on the top of this. There's some nice little light pinks and kind of peach colors on top. But yeah, I mean, the texture on this thing is crazy. You got that really evergreen holly appearance that gives you a nice presence in the garden. And this one doesn't get too big either. We're talking about like 4 to 5 feet. So you can squeeze this in a nice little tight spot if you need some fragrance in your garden. I'm all about here lately adding like flowers and fragrant plants, kind of take it to the next level in the garden.
Yeah, man, that garden should be coming to you in 5 dimensions, man. You know, you want all those senses being played with. And this is definitely gonna I guess titillate your senses, man, with the smell and the beautiful, color that it provides. I think pairing this with something that's going to give you similar colors would be nice. If you have a Japanese maple, maybe like last week's Alarian that we had on the 10 at 10.
Oh, yeah.
You pair this up with that, you get those plays between the whites and the greens and the pinks, and you'll just see how all of them kind of vary a little bit. You'll definitely see some overlap in those, but it's going to be a great little pairing.
Yeah, definitely pick one of these up today.
From one party to another, man. This is always going to make my party garden, man. We got Acer Palmatum Amagi Shigure.
Yeah, dude, this is I think one of the best reticulateds out there. It really has some nice kind of purplish, kind of these dark purple colors. With that real dark veining inside that leaf. It's really nice. I remember early on, this was one I was kind of hyping up to you about when you were first kind of getting into maples. Like, man, you like the reticulated types, you got to look at that Amagi Shigure because it sets itself apart. It's one of the smaller of those reticulated types too. You're talking about like 6 feet in 10 years. So it doesn't get real big, so you can tuck it into a nice small spot in the garden if you need a pop of color.
All right, yeah, I mean, some of the younger viewers, I'm about to glaze this thing, as they call it, man, because this is one of my favorite trees, man. It's like, I feel like the texture on the reticulated leaf, and if you don't know what a reticulated leaf is, maybe this is your first video, but it's where you can see there's a bicolored, tricolored leaf sometimes of the Japanese maple that shows all the little veins inside, all the little structure inside of the leaf. Highlighted in one base color and kind of that highlight color. And this, it has some of the most well-defined detail in any of those reticulated varieties. One of the best colors. And then it also will have sometimes like almost a metallic sheen over top, which if you watch some of these 10 at 10s I've talked in, I talked in some of them about depth and creating depth in the garden, something that's visually interesting. And most of the time I'm talking about texture where certain shapes of leaves kind of allows for shadows to creep in. But this kind of does the opposite. It's going to pull the light in and reflect that light over top of the tree, make some of those other colors kind of pop a little bit. And I mean, it's a great tree to have as a centerpiece because it's not going to get too big. I did wish this one grew a little bit faster because it's so awesome, but it's just so amazing watching this thing leaf out during the springtime.
Yeah, I love the leaf on this, guys. I always try to kind of think of like other things that I associate it with. I kind of always think of this one as like if you took what you love, the best characteristics of like Purple Ghost, and then like the best characteristics of Frosted Purple, and you kind of put those together and make it into a smaller tree. Magi Shiguri definitely kind of fits that realm. I love how you can look at these different reticulated types and see how they're trying to like perfect it or like refine different characteristics. Magi Shiguri, man, I love this cultivar. Definitely one that'll sell out quick, so act fast on these. All right, guys, we got another killer tree for you here. Some great size 1 gallons here, guys. We got Acer Shirasawa Arium.
Yeah, I mean, one of the quintessential Shirasawanums. If you love yellow and you don't have an Arium in your garden, what are you doing? Because this is one of the most brilliant colored maples, one of the best shaped leaf maples. And I mean, it's pretty much the Shirasawanum.
Yeah, I mean, this is the OG that kind of starts that whole series of Shirasawanums. I absolutely love Arium. I think it's, like you said, one of the brightest golden yellows and greens, chartreuse greens that you can get in the landscape. Now, this is going to need some protection from the hot afternoon sun. I always say that with Arium. There are some other Shirasawanums that you can push that heat tolerance a little bit further on, but Arium needs some protection. But this is a great one for container plants. We talk about that a lot. One of the good things about container plant is you can move that thing around out in your garden, kind of find that sweet spot, play around with the light and shade, and find that happy place for your Arium. I think that's kind of a fun way to grow.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm a container gardener right now. I have a couple of trees put in the ground back in my home in Cherokee, but I'm renting right now in Hendersonville. And anytime that you have a plant that can do really well in a container is like, I mean, I'm sold on that pretty much. And most Japanese maples do pretty dang good in a container. But yeah, this one, dude, throw it in one of those darker spots in the garden. Because, I mean, it's already going to need that shade. And guess what that does to those darker areas? It brightens them up just a little bit, man.
Definitely a sweet cultivar for you guys today. Acer Shirasawa Arium. All right, guys, we got another killer plant for you here. We got a nice evergreen conifer for you. We got Cupressus maricarpa Greenstead Magnificent.
Man, that's a mouthful, man.
That's a mouthful, bro.
This tree might be magnificent, man. I know Matt's always joking about that. This is a tree that stands out amongst all those conifers. You know, I had to go pull these earlier today. Was not very hard.
No, yeah. I mean, it's definitely very identifiable when you see it. That silvery blue color just pops. I mean, it really does give a nice color spectrum for you to play with in your garden. You're not going to get these kind of colors out of your maples. You know, these are things that you get into the conifer world to kind of bring in some of those blues, some of those silver colors. And with this is going to be a very low growing. Now, these are a low graft staked up. Now, if you just want a certain height and then you want to just let it grow, it's going to start to spread. We've had these a couple of different styles. I've seen these in like a lollipop, but these are a low graft staked. So really cool, nice, almost like a ground cover-ish type of conifer for your garden. This one has a nice spread to it.
Yeah, man. I see this color and this reminds me of like turquoise, man. That's like one of my favorite, gemstones. Being, Native American, I might be a little stereotyped right there, but this turquoise is going to go great with those kind of brighter picked up, maybe not picked up oranges, but more of those earthy colors. So for here, this is my little opinion. Grisium bark is going to look pretty dang good with this right around it. Or maybe you got a crepe myrtle in the yard. A lot of us have crepe myrtles.
Yeah.
This might be pretty good to pair between that and get that play between that kind of earthy dark bark with this nice turquoise blue color. It's going to give you a nice small habit in that garden. Maybe easy to pair with something like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you think about pairings, it's always fun to play around with color contrast, dude. And that's what we do that a lot here at MrMaple because it's so much fun to kind of design your landscape and to play off of those colors. I was sitting here thinking about maybe a gold drift nearby this, some nice gold colors, and then that texture of that spruce next to the cypress, man. I think those two textures would play off each other with that crazy color contrast. Such a fun plant, man. You can do this thing about any style. Let this thing kind of spread out wide or keep it staked up tall. So
we're rapidly approaching the future, man. And, whenever I think about the future, I think about space, man. And I guess Talon Buckholtz, man, he must have been thinking about space whenever he named a couple of those new ghosts, kind of in that Celestial series. But here, we got Acer palmatum Nebula.
Yeah, man, this is a cool reticulated type. Gives you these really nice, like kind of soft pink tones when it first leaves out. Almost like a tan underlaying to it with a little like pink blush over top. It's kind of an odd color. I think that's what was so interesting about Nebula. That's probably what Talon was drawn to this particular plant, because the color spectrum is a little bit outside of your typical reticulated types. Gives you some weird colors. I've seen this going off in the greenhouses a few times. Now, some of this can be conditional, but the reticulation is so dark, so prominent on this, that it almost gives you like this weird, like variegated, like look to it, almost like you get in some flecks of variegation to it, but it's actually just that reticulation underneath.
Yeah, I mean, this one, all those reticulated varieties really give you just such a beautiful play in color. I mean, one of my favorite things seeing with maples is like I love watching that color change, like based on like sun exposure. And Nebula just gives you some really nice pinks and greens, man. Moving into some more creamy colors, which I always enjoy just because I mean that's going to really contrast in the garden. You know, Talon having that celestial body series kind of idea. I mean, black hole, man. I mean, I think this one kind of, it's an alley-oop for that one. You know, that's a great combo.
Yeah.
Get these really light colors mixed to like that super, super dark reticulated variety. Super amazing. Nebula. You'll be looking up, wondering about this tree, man. Just dreaming about it, man. All right.
All right, guys, we got another really, really nice maple here. We got Acer palmatum Allen's Gold.
Yeah, man. I mean, who doesn't love maples in the springtime, man? There must be like a kind of a reverse Grinch sitting out there, and they're like, I hate springtime, man. I hate the emergence of life, man. And hey, this tree also might be for you, because guess what? This Acer palmatum Allen's Gold, it looks good in the wintertime too, man. Giving you a nice bark interest on this tree. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, I love that about Allen's Gold. This is kind of one of the first that really truly has a spring interest. That is a rough bark or a cork bark Japanese maple. So the combination of that is just, I mean, that's like A+. This should be like the Holy Grail, one of those Holy Grail plants, you know, that we talk about a lot, because you finally got those two worlds colliding where you have that really nice cork bark interest to it, rough bark. I mean, I love that texture that these things get. And then you get some really nice orange spring color. I had one of these in Oklahoma, man. You push this out into the sun a little bit, you really play with that color spectrum. You can get a nice kind of like almost this bleached white yellow when you get later into summer. So once that orange starts to fade, you get into those kind of lighter yellows and kind of white bleached colors. So a lot of colors going on with this plant, plus you get the bark interest. Pretty nice.
I mean, who doesn't love like a Katsura type, man?
Right.
That beacon of spring, it's just gonna light up. And guys, now everything takes a little bit of time, man. The best things in life, you know, they come to those people who are patient.
That's right.
Now this pine bark might be a little bit slower than some of those other varieties, but guess what? I mean, it's giving you that spring interest, man. You can wait a little bit, because whenever you do slowly start to see this pine bark start to emerge, man, I mean, it's pretty spectacular. One of my favorite things about having a pine bark is just kind of like certain spaces that may have had like a little bit of damage or may have been scarred. Always the graft union is gonna bark up pretty much first.
Right.
But dude, I love like kind of watching that slowly grow across the bark. And I mean, it's awesome whenever you have big chunks connected up together and really have that full effect of the pine bark. This is going to be one that is going to sell out quick, guys.
Yeah.
It always does.
Yeah.
That's why I don't have one yet, because it sells out so quick. And this is just a dope tree, man.
Yeah, man. Really good size 1 gallons on these guys, so don't sleep on that. Make sure you check out quick for an Allen's Gold. All right, guys, we got another really nice little maple here for you. Nice little dwarf. We're getting into some dwarfs here. So we got Acer palmatum Little Joe. Now, Little Joe has been one that's kind of been catching my attention when I see it out in the greenhouse. Just got a crazy little texture to it. The leaf on it's got a little serration to the edge. Nice long middle lobe that like stretches out. It's kind of different than your typical like broom where you see that rounded lobe. These will like almost exaggerate the middle lobe to the opposite effect of it. So it's kind of an odd texture to it. And they always get a crazy little shape. You know, we're talking about a dwarf here, so they don't get very big, but they're always pushing out these little cool little branch structures and got a great shape on them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the diversity of textures I see just in this one branch, where you have that elongated leaf, you kind of get that little bit of twisting and hooking on the end of that lobe. It's always nice. And I mean, just a variety of different size leaves, which I always think is cool. That's one of my favorite things about like brooms, is just like, you never know what that leaf is going to look like. I've had leaves on brooms that are smaller than my pinky thumbnail, or pinky fingernail, I guess. And I just think that's so awesome because it just adds so much variety in one plant.
Yeah, definitely one I think would be great for container gardening. We talk about that a lot on here, but sometimes when you get a nice little dwarf like this, find you a nice container with a nice contrasting color. Put that in that and watch that thing fill out. You're going to really enjoy that, especially up close. You can just see all those crazy little leaves, all the different textures. And then when this thing goes into fall color, it really lights up too. You get some nice oranges and reds. So, I mean, you've got a lot of interest going on with this. The texture, the color changes. I think, you know, being a dwarf too, I think a lot of people don't have room for a lot of bigger stuff. So you could put this in a nice little spot in your garden or grow it in a container. So a lot of cool ways to grow this plant.
Yeah, man, I think this is going to pair really nicely with other witches' brooms, maybe Elizabeth, maybe Skeeter's broom.
Right,
you know, you're going to get
absolutely
some similar growth going on in completely different colors. It's going to look pretty amazing in your garden.
Little Joe.
Man, lots of really unique maples today. But that's pretty much every day.
It is.
Guys, we got an awesome Acer palmatum Peve starfish.
Dude, I love this tree, man. It's so crazy and just plays off the imagery in your mind, especially with that name, the starfish. That cup down leaf really does speak so true to that name. It gives you it's a fun tree, you know. It's like one that when we put it in our garden, we were like, hey, you know what, we should start like an underwater theme, do a starfish over here. We got an octopus out there. Got the Nemo and a koi, but a lot of cool plants to put with this. But Peve starfish on its own, honestly, is like one of the best cultivars out there. Smaller tree, kind of always has a narrow habit to it as well, and just the texture of the way that leaf grows is wild, man.
Yeah, man. I think I talked about the metallic sheen on you know, that Magi Shiguri, but I think this one kind of gets it a little bit. And then also, man, like, these leaves almost look plastic sometimes. Like, it almost looks like a fake tree, especially during those crazy fall time colors, man. I mean, it looks like somebody went out there, spray painted a bunch of little puffed up plastic.
Right.
And it just looks dramatic in the garden, man. I mean, I just love that. This tree is something that's going to be, you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck, man. Because, you know, I have a lot of favorite things to do. Color change, but then one of my most favorite things about maples is the ones that curl.
Yeah.
That leaf pushes out flat, and then you're just slowly watching all those little leaves kind of curl up into the shape that they're going to be for the rest of the year. Oh man, it's so awesome.
Yeah, definitely one that, you know, if you want something that's fun, that keeps you interested year round, I think that's what's great about Peve starfish. Like, it's just always something going on with this tree. Right now, mine's got some new growth happening on it with that summer. So you got this bright, bold red popping over this kind of greener, older growth. It looks super wild right now. I love it. I've got it paired next to a lot of the other plants I talked about earlier, but it's actually paired next to a sunny. So the bright yellow sunny right next to this red Peve starfish really plays into the contrast of color and texture in that. And that's what's great about Japanese maples, man. There's one for everybody out there. If you're looking for a starfish for your garden, pick up a Peve starfish.
Oh yeah.
All right, everybody, we got another beautiful Japanese maple. We got Acer palmatum, yellow, cascade. Now this is one I like, man. This is one I've got in a pot on my front porch. It's on an elevated stand in that pot, and it just weeps and cascades down. It's a beautiful bright red pot with that yellow, bright yellow green flowing over the sides of this thing. Yellow Cascade, man, these weeping varieties are so much fun because you can play around with the shapes on these. Now these are low graft, but you know, really interesting how you can play around with the shapes on these.
Yeah, man, I usually call them like a Play-Doh tree because you can just twist and shape it around. But man, this is more like a Play-Doh tree, man, like, because you'll just be sitting in the garden pondering the beauty of this thing, man. And, you know, a little philosophy joke right there, but amazing tree. Buckholt's introduction. I got to see the original one of these, and it's just a massive mounding, you know, entity in the garden. It's in a big box, but it still just has such a presence. It literally just looks like a spring of just beautiful yellow colors. And awesome fall colors. This is a classic.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can even see this new growth here flushing right now. Some nice kind of light butter yellow color to that. So if you're needing something that really plays into that yellow realm, and this is the one you can grow in some shade too, and it actually still holds that real bright yellow color even in shade. Sometimes you have to get these pushed out a little bit far into the sun to really pick up those bright yellows. But this one does well even in the shade, so I like that about. I've got mine up on the porch so it didn't get a whole lot of sun, just a little bit of dappled sun throughout the day. Always looking really nice. Got these low grafts, guys. Really right sizes on these are just perfect. I mean, these will be potting up before long, but you can stake these up, kind of create your own unique shape in it. Great for the landscape, man. Gets you a Yellow Cascade. Look at the size of these. We got some Acer palmatum. Kiyohime, one of Corbin's favorite Japanese maples. Man, I'll let you roll this thing. What do you got? What do you like about Kiyohime?
Man, I just love how this one kind of pops up in like all those kind of legends. I think that might have been one of the first videos I edited from like kind of one of Matt and Tim's trips. I think it was like Bill Shell or one of the guys out in Alabama. They were talking about that Kiyohime, man, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, huh, what the heck is that, man? And they were talking about how it did pretty good in like some hotter areas. And one day, if we get one of them Kiyohimes, man, coming on that truck, it's a gigantic 10-gallon, and I have to pick it up because, man, these things kind of sing to you. It's, you know, Makawa has its place and, you know, is an amazing dwarf. But man, these dwarfs, the Hime types really speak to me, man. I just love that kind of dense habit that they have. I love the spring interest that this one has. And I love the tiny little leaves.
Yeah, dude, man. This thing is so, like, the leaves are so small, so intricate, man. That's why it's so popular for like bonsai. People really get into it for that. Great structure too. I like how they kind of form this wide, like almost tabletop or toadstool kind of habit to them. They're really spread out wide, only about 3 foot tall, and then they can get like 5 or 6 foot wide. So it's really interesting growth habit for a Japanese maple. You know, typically you're thinking of an upright or a weeping. This one is a nice spreading habit to it. But I mean, the spring color on this is really, really top notch. That red border you get on this, sometimes you can see a little bit of like purple red, but typically you'll see a nice bright red border on that small leaf.
Yeah, I know that this is a dwarf, but I've seen some of the most beautiful large specimens of this tree. You know, the second one that's probably the smaller of the two was at Maple Walk.
Maple Walk, yeah.
Where, I mean, it's the smaller of the two, but it's literally probably maybe 1.5 feet wider than this tree, or than this table is down here that we work on. And I mean, it's probably what, 2.5 feet tall, if that.
Dude, and that thing is so like developed, the structure underneath too. I remember when the first time we went there to that garden, I like was trying to get some B-roll, so I climbed up underneath it and was literally laying underneath that tree, just kind of zooming around, looking at all the amazing structure underneath, and just that big, grand kind of tabletop presence that it had in that garden is just absolutely amazing. I just think it's so interesting to think of this plant more into the future, because it's hard to see it when it's young. But when you see a large specimen, you really start to understand what this plant can do.
And these trees are pretty old too. I mean, I would assume that these are maybe like 5-6 years old, maybe.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, they got a nice girth on the trunk on these, nice structure already going. Definitely glad to be able to offer these sizes. Typically, we only have these in like a 1 gallon size. Occasionally, we'll get some bigger sizes, but having these in some 3s, definitely going to sell out quick, so you guys make sure you check out quickly on these.
Yeah, I'm going to try not to buy a second one.
All right, guys. Well, that's it, man. That's the 10 that we're highlighting today. Now, there will be 20 trees dropping, so if you want that insider information, go sign up for the weekly email. You guys will get the full list and kind of get a little sneak peek as what's coming up, the full listing. And then the videos, we just highlight a few that we like to show you guys what's coming up. But been fun hanging out, talking about plants today with you guys.
And hey, you hanging out in the bathroom right now, hiding from your boss, I see you. You better get back to work, man.
But don't go back to work until you buy a few plants. You know?
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. Well, that's when you take another bathroom
Yeah,
break.
that's right.
But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. I'm just messing around, obviously. But yeah, that was a great 10 at 10, man. I'm happy I get to do this with my homie Brian.
Yeah, man.
Bring awesome content to you. If you enjoy it, make sure to drop a like. And yeah, take care
God bless.
and have a great day.